You know what's funny? Sometimes when somebody says something to you, you don't really take it seriously until it hits you. You know what I mean? I think many of you can relate to that. Someone has said something and you was like, nah, or it just didn't register in your head until it actually happened, and then you saw it for your own with your own eyes. And that's exactly what took place today with me. Let me just rewind the clock a little bit. About a few, I think the other day, my wife and myself was having this strange conversation about this new law that will be passed beginning March the 1st, 2020 in New York. And this law is about plastic bags. From now on, from that date, if you go to any bodega, supermarket, or any store in New York, they will no longer provide plastic bags for their customers. I gave her this look that you are witnessing right now. And she looked at me and she said, "That is right." So the next time, she knows that I don't drive. She's the driver of the family. Whenever she goes food shopping, she will bring her car with her so that she can bring home the groceries. Me, on the other hand, because of the fact that I don't know how to drive, I have to use the gift of locomotion and take myself to the supermarket with my food cart. And she suggested that the next time I go there, I should place a large, uh, big bag within the shopping cart so that when I go to the cashier with my items, they will place those items within the bag that's inside of the shopping cart. And after she said that to me, once again, I gave her this look. So anyway, it didn't hit me. You know, that's something. That's something that I was talking to you guys about in the beginning of this video. I began this video by saying, have you ever heard someone say something to you and you just brushed it off, and it just didn't click until you actually saw it with your own eyes? And today was that day. When I got off the express bus, I immediately went to Walgreens, which is several feet away from the express bus. I went inside, picked up some things, and then the guy behind the cashier placed those items within a plastic bag. And at that time, this new law, you know, it didn't. I didn't even. I completely forgot about the law. That's what I'm trying to say. So after I left Walgreens across the street, and I entered this food market, and I picked up some ingredients for tonight's dinner. And when I approached the cashier, she said to me, if you want to walk out of the store with these items, you need to purchase one of our bags, which is 20 cents a bag. And when she said that, I just froze. I was frozen in my thoughts. I looked at her, and she looked at me and she said, have you made up your mind? Or would you like to purchase one of our bags, which is 10 cents, or the other one of the other bags, which is 20 cents? So I still looked at her and I I said to her, wow, I've been on this planet for 48 years and I never heard of such a law. And she said, yes, they did pass this law. And I said to her, I said, well, I just left Walgreens and they placed all of these items that I purchased there inside of a plastic bag. And a customer behind me said to me, well, maybe they charged you for that bag and they didn't tell you that. Maybe it's on your receipt. So, you know, it just that's what I'm saying. It was a moment that it was a moment that caused me to realize, oh wow, what D'Amica, my wife, was telling me is correct. It was one of those situations that it just snapped into my head, and I was like, wow, really? So, what am I trying to accomplish in this video? what I'm trying to what I'm trying to say is that there are laws being passed in America across the nation, and there are people who are just following these laws. They believe that, hey, it's the law, so be it. And I am a firm believer of following the law. According to, I believe it's Romans chapter 13, if I'm not mistaken, where it says that we are supposed to submit to the governing authorities. So, we as Christians and civilians, unbelievers, all of us have to submit to the law because that's the way the Lord wants it to be, of course. So I have no issue submitting to the law, but I'm thinking about the law and I'm saying to myself, wow, this is a strange law. This is, this is something that people are just going along with it and they feel that there's nothing wrong with that. That reminds me of the gay marriage law when they passed that, and everyone else who are unbelievers are looking at Christians like myself, folks like myself who believe in Yeshua and His law, His ways. They're looking at us like, we're the bad guys, we're the strange folks. We're the ones that don't have it all together. And I'm looking at these things, right? And whenever whenever I run into a situation that causes me to step back, I always try to examine the bigger picture. And I know for a fact that the bigger picture is pretty complex. There's a lot of moving parts, going on within that picture. And Satan has his hands all over the cookie jars within the bigger picture. So I wouldn't be surprised if Satan deliberately wanted this law to be passed just to keep people in fear. You see what I'm saying? A lot of there are a lot of folks who will consider this law as a good thing for the environment. And just want to state for the record that I am an advocate. An advocate for the environment. I regularly recycle every day, and I have no issues. When it comes to the environment, fine. But it's just that this law, right? Even if it's good for the environment, I just sense something about it. This control. You see what I'm saying? It's like, what I'm trying to say is that this law was inspired by people who, what I'm saying is that this law was created by folks, groups who decided to just bring this to the state government with the intent to make everyone else think the way that they think. You see what I'm saying? It's like they want to, they want everyone else to just follow their standards. They want others, to be brainwashed to just, just without thinking for ourselves. They don't want us to think for ourselves. They just want us to just go along with the law. It's like when the people behind me on the line at the market, they was like, yeah, that's the law, that's the law. And it's just something that, yes, the law is the law, but I believe that what I have experienced today is a preview. It's this is like an appetizer, and the main course will be served to us in the future. What I am referring to is the fact that when the mark of the beast becomes the law of the world, not just the law of in America, but around the world, people are just going to go along with it and say, yes, that's the law. You don't get it, that's the law. Just like the people on the line when they looked at me and they said, hey, that's the law. So you see that's what I'm trying to get across here in this video, that we have to be mindful of the things that are being put in place, because the things that are happening actually are, in my mind, bricks that are being placed upon each other with cement, just so that the platform can be complete for the Antichrist to just step upon it, and then he can just, do whatever he wants to do, because everything is in place for him. You see what I'm saying? You know. So in closing, I just want us to be mindful and be watchful. The scripture says that we need to be watchful in all things. And this is just something that, is something to consider. It's not, some might look at this video and say, oh, you blowing this out of proportion. Not really. I'm just being observant. And, if a law like this could be passed, many other laws could be passed as well. Laws that, you would never imagine. I had this conversation with my coworker about the possibility of prostitution being legal in New York, and he strongly disagrees with me. He said that would never happen, and I showed him an article about a few Democrats in America, in New York, who are actually trying to push for this. And I had to remind him about the fact that in America, in Nevada, there is a place where you can go and have sex with a woman legally. It's called the Bunny Ranch. And, that's how things operate in this life. The devil is very patient. He would just plant the seed over here, and he will wait for years and years and years until that seed becomes, the type of plant that he can just pull this branch from the plant and then place that branch in another location. And then he could do the same with the rest of the plant that was originally placed in that location. You see what I'm saying? It's like the devil will use the origin, and then as time goes by, he'll wait, and then he'll make his move. And I believe that one day he'll make his move, and he will work through legislators, through Democrats, and even Republicans. He will work through whoever it is who has authority, and work through them so that he could achieve. He could, so that he can, present his agenda. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to spit that out. So keep in mind, guys, brothers and sisters in the Lord, be watchful. Just be watchful. That's all I'm trying to say in this video. Just be watchful, because the devil is constantly busy, and we need to be regularly busy as well by analyzing things, all things, through the word of the Lord. This is the Preacher Man signing out. May the Lord Yeshua Mashiach bless you all and your families, and in Yeshua's holy name I say amen. Peace.